Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a very big lineup of news to brief you all on today. So today's date is June 6, 2025, and it's Friday. Hope you guys are all ready for your weekend. We've got a lot of big news to cover in today's updates with this war. As last night it was very explosive, both sides, Ukraine and Russia, exchanging hundreds of drones, missiles being fired on both sides as well. Ukraine was getting hit very hard last night also. But we're going to start off with news coming out from Russia and what Ukraine was doing last night. So we're going to start with this story here on your screen. Ukrainian drone struck an oil depot in Engels, Russia's Saratov region. Ukraine has previously targeted the Kristall plant, an oil refinery in Engels that supplies fuel to Russia's Engels 2 military airfield. It hosts long range bombers, including the Tu 95 and Tu 160 aircraft. Yeah, so Ukraine struck this thing once again. I want to say I reported this oil depot, the Commandant Kristall, being attacked probably about 6 to 8 months ago, and it got hit like several times within like a 2 week span. And Ukraine hasn't attacked it in a while. It looks like they went ahead and struck it again today. You can see a massive blaze over here in that video footage. So we're going to talk about all the hits that Ukraine was putting onto Russia last night. We had air bases being hit, defense plants, major airport in the Bryansk region exploding last night. I think Ukraine was even carrying out preemptive strikes onto Russia as well, as we had information earlier in the day yesterday that the Russians were preparing to launch a massive assault onto Ukraine with aerial attacks. So Ukraine was carrying out multiple preemptive strikes, like in the Bryansk region, also in Crimea. Crimea was seeing a lot of Neptune missiles down there as well. And then Russia went ahead and launched a massive attack onto Ukraine. I think 407 drones coming from the Russians and around 44 missiles. Okay, so lots of damage reported across Ukraine. Kiev was hit, and a lot of western cities. So much information to dive into, guys. We're just going to go ahead and get right into this. Let's hop on over here to Vicegrad24. Breaking: Ukraine launches huge drone swarm attack against military targets across Russia. A fuel depot of the Engels Airbase was hit. That's the Combinat Kristall oil depot in this video that we're going to show you here. Diaghilevo Airbase hit. Military electronics plant in Tambov hit. Bryansk airports hit. And Podolsk near Moscow and Crimea. Okay, so yeah, Crimea was getting hammered by Neptunes yesterday, drones flying down there. We had apparently an explosion in Podolsk near Moscow. I'm not really sure exactly what that was over there, but I do have a video I can show you guys. I mean, Bryansk Airport, this is that preemptive strike that Ukraine carried out. Massive explosion over there. Wait till you guys see the video on that. This military electronics plant, yeah, reportedly hit by drones. Diaghilevo Air Base, we do have one video that shows smoke in the area, but we can't really see exactly what was being hit over there. Then this fuel depot, we're going to talk a lot about that as a massive flame here in this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, guys. 23 seconds.
Все, опять попали. Опять в резервуар попали. Не в Чепан, не в Сибасе попали.
All right, so as we can see in this video, somebody driving along next to the Combinat Kristall oil depot located in the Saratov region in the city of Engels. And again, this oil depot directly supplies fuel over to the Engels 2 military airfield that's located not too far away. And this hosts like strategic bombers over there. Tu 160s, Tu 95s are hosted over there at that airfield. We could see a massive flame here. I mean, this thing was hit very hard. And if you guys remember, there was a string of events from like a 4 or 5 month period, probably ended back in like February or March, where Ukraine was just repeatedly attacking oil depots across Russia, striking, oil depots, oil refineries, just like the Combinat Kristall oil depot right here. And at some point, I started making jokes, and I was like, we're gonna have to change our channel into oil depot news because there were so many being hit. So it's the first time Ukraine has struck an oil depot in a while, probably in like over a month or two. So crazy news there. Let's move on to Max 25 now. Massive attack on Russia and Crimea, map from Drone Bomber. So here's the map coming out from the Telegram channel Drone Bomber, showing the trajectory of all these drones entering into Russia last night. You can see a lot of them also heading over to Crimea, southwestern Russia as well. So many different regions being targeted, guys. I mean, Voronezh being targeted, Volgograd, up here at Saratov. This is where Engels was hit at. We had drones entering up near Moscow even. Here's the Tambov region where we had a defense plant being hit. Kursk being hammered by drones, Bryansk as well. Just drones everywhere across Russia. And what was being reported is possibly 400 plus drones entering into Russia last night. Now, for more translated, Russia claims its overnight mass attack was a response to Ukraine's terror acts, hitting strategic planes and military sites, legitimate targets. Ukraine strikes military targets like planes used to bomb our kids, while Russia hits civilians, homes, and key infrastructure, Foreign Minister Sibia said. So that's the foreign minister out of Ukraine, Andrei Sibia. He stated this today, that Russia only goes after civilian targets inside of Ukraine, while Ukraine targets key military facilities. So it says right here, Russian military launches massive strike overnight in response to terrorist acts in Kiev, targeting military facilities in Ukraine, achieving objectives, and declaring strikes on the Russian Ministry of Defense. Okay, so that's a statement from Russia, claiming that they've gone after military facilities in Ukraine, but clearly they did not, as I've got lots of videos again today showing innocent people that have been harmed in these attacks, civilian infrastructure being destroyed. We had several people being killed overnight and injured in these attacks from Russia. So now from Astra, the Progress plant in Mishrinsk, if I'm saying that right, Russia was reportedly attacked, causing a fire. 3 people were reported injured. Okay, this is that defense plant in the Tambov region. Around 2:15 a.m., a drone struck a workshop at the Progress plant. Emergency services are working at the scene. There are injuries. Traffic in the area is partially blocked. Firefighters are battling the blaze. Reads a post from the Mishrinsk News Telegram channel. This information has not been officially confirmed. JSC Mishrinsk Progress Plant produces high-tech equipment for aviation and missile control systems, as well as a wide range of civilian electrical products and equipment for gas and oil pipelines. Okay, so you can see how this defense plant would be directly connected to Russia's military. So this is the JSC Mishrinsk Progress Plant, okay, that was attacked up in the Tambov region just last night, okay, at 2:15 a.m., a drone directly striking it. So I think I do have a video I can show you guys here. We'll watch some of this from Null Reports, Mishrinsk, Tambov region. Another video is surfaced showing the aftermath of a strike on the Progress plant. The facility produces advanced control systems for aviation and missile technology, as well as wide range of civilian electronics and equipment for gas and oil infrastructure. So let's watch some of this. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I feel like this video is longer than it needs to be, but go ahead and check this out.
Да, вот он говорит, там, короче, скорая одна, вторая, пожарники, менты, короче, много всего. Все, вот она вторая.
All right, so we can see police or medical units showing up over here on site with this defense plant that has been directly hit. We can see a fire that broke out. Looks like fire's coming through the windows there. So it looks like we had a direct strike with at least one Ukrainian drone on this Progress plant, okay? So now let's move on to another one from Vicegrad 24. Breaking Ukrainian drone swarm has attacked Russia's Diaghilevo Airbase in Ryazan, where Russia keeps part of its strategic aviation. Russia has at least 11 Ilyushin-76 military transport planes there, together with 7 Tu-22s, strategic bombers, and 10 Su-34 fighter bombers. So here's a video that I was only able to find just this one here, showing what looks like smoke coming from the airfield at Diaghilevo Airbase, okay, up in the Ryazan region. This is very close to, like, Moscow. Reportedly it was hit by drones as well over there, but not too much evidence of the strikes. But we can see what looks like smoke coming from the airfield over here. So now let's move on to another one from Ozin to Intuit. Occupied Crimea, Ukraine is under attack. Ukrainian Neptune cruise missiles have been launched towards Saki and Sevastopol from the area of Odessa. So yeah, Ukraine was attacking Crimea last night. These were reports coming out on Telegram. You can see here, Sevastopol get to a safe place immediately. Another PKR release. Not really sure what PKR is. If you guys know what that acronym stands for, let me know down in the comments. Writes 13 tactical, another PKR release. Red danger level, take safe places. Here's another one here. Sevastopol and Crimea are under attack. Sevastopol with some little alert symbols. Neptune's in the direction of Saki, Sevastopol from Odessa. So Saki has a military airfield over there with fighter bombers that are stationed that usually launch strikes on the southern portion of Ukraine. So that's probably what Ukraine was going after, was that Saki airfield down in Crimea near Sevastopol. So now from Euromaidan Press, as Russia continues its massive missile and drone attack against Ukrainian cities, Ukraine's drone struck a Russian oil depot in Engels, Saratov Oblast. Okay, so I pulled this up so I could show you guys one more video of this thing burning and also some pictures. So let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick.
Engels.
All right, so here's another angle of this Engels oil depot that was burning. I just realized it said Angle and Engels, but two different words there. So yeah, we can see a massive flame over here with this thing on fire, directly hit by Ukrainian drones. And I know a lot of drones were entering up into this region. Got a few pictures here we can take a look at as well. Here's some up close images showing this thing burning. Also, here's another one in the distance, probably off that video that I showed you guys on the waiting screen when you came in. There's one more right there. I mean, look at that massive blaze there. Huge damage done to this oil depot that directly supplies fuel to the strategic bombers located at the Engels 2 military airfield over here in the Saratov region. Okay, so now let's move on to Vijesty, and he reported Saratov region targeting the Russian electronic warfare. Okay, so there's a video here coming out showing a Ukrainian Lyuti drone crashing right into what looks like some sort of radar tower, or I'm not sure if that's like an electrical tower, but looks like a drone targeted this over here and striking it directly. You can see that massive explosion when that drone crashed right into it. This is also in the Saratov region where we had this oil depot being attacked. Okay, so now let's move on to another one. Astra Mi-8 helicopter destroyed, Mi-35 damaged an overnight attack at Bryansk Airport. Astra sources reported Ukrainian drones attacked Bryansk International Airport in the village of Oktyabrskoye, sorry guys, overnight on June 5th to the 6th, according to Astra sources. Nighttime footage from the scene captured secondary explosions after the strike. Ukrainian security service sources told Astra that the airport was indeed targeted by Ukrainian UAVs. Russian emergency service sources said an Mi-8 combat helicopter was completely destroyed with ammunition detonating. An Mi-35 helicopter was partially damaged. The airport's administrative building and the rescue service building were also damaged. Several dozen employees were evacuated from a nearby Ozon warehouse. No casualties were reported. So yeah, this was apparently a preemptive strike that Ukraine carried out. I think it was drones that attacked over here at this airport in Bryansk. This is like north of Ukraine, right next to the Kursk region. And we had a massive explosion. I want to show you guys this video here, and it looks like we had some ammunition detonating too. Okay, so I'm not sure if there was like Iskanders that were reportedly stationed over here. Some sources were stating that yesterday. Could have had a warehouse full of Iskander missiles that were destroyed. I mean, you guys can let me know what you're looking at here, but you're going to see a huge explosion and secondary detonation. So take a look at this video.
Видно?
All right, we'll pause it there. So yeah, you can see in the beginning, you're hearing like little pop sounds like secondary explosions going off. And then all of a sudden, a little bit way through the video, all of a sudden a massive explosion goes off. And we see a huge secondary detonation, possibly major ammunition being stored over there, maybe missiles or something is what I'm thinking. But you can see all of that just blowing up all over the place over there. So huge hit over here with Ukraine also. Here's a picture coming out as this explosion took place. I mean, look at that huge fireball there, guys. One more here as well. Lots of smoke in the skies, bright flash right over the top of these trucks. So yeah, some people were saying that it was Iskander missiles that were preparing to launch onto Ukraine again, just like what we saw yesterday, and they were directly struck by either drones, maybe missiles were incoming over here, but I'm thinking most likely drones, and we had this huge explosion. But reportedly, according to Astra, we had some helicopters being destroyed. Now for Ukraine front line, Ukraine destroyed a stockpile of Iskander-M ballistic missiles at the Bryansk airfield in Russia. Each missile costs $3 million to manufacture. Russia produces around 65 Iskander-M missiles per month. Okay, so you can see here some sources were indicating it was Iskander ballistic missiles that were being destroyed at the Bryansk airfield. Not 100% sure, but definitely something big exploded. Take a look at this video. Okay, so just a quick clip here, and I thought this one was kind of funny, their reaction. They're like, whoa, whoa, absolutely huge explosion at the airfield over here in Bryansk. So, I mean, let me know what you guys think happened over here, but definitely looks like some ammunition exploding at this airfield or airport in the Bryansk Oblast. Now for Ukraine front line, the Russians launched 2 Oreshnik missiles at Kiev, one at the Bankova, 2 at the Kiev Dam of the Kiev hydroelectric power plant. Both fell on the border with Kazakhstan. It was planned that the Shaheeds who are flying now would finish off, and the Aerospace Forces Aviation plus the planned launches of Iskanders and S-300, 400 would complete the bloody attack, but everything again went wrong. Okay, so I'm showing you guys this information, and I can't completely confirm this, but last night I put out a video letting you guys know there was like debris being spotted falling out of the sky over Kazakhstan yesterday, and it made me wonder if maybe Russia had fired an Oreshnik or maybe multiples, and they had detonated mid-air and failed. Well, Ukraine Frontline is reporting that today, so, you know, take this with a grain of salt. This has not been completely confirmed yet. Just wanted to show you guys this information in case that happened to be true, because we did have those strange reports coming out around the same time that Russia was launching their attack onto Ukraine. That's when Kazakhstan was seeing these bright lights, these balls of light going through the sky, possibly indicating something falling, and it could have been an exploding missile or something, but it also could have been a satellite. Who knows what it really was falling out of the sky over there. But now for military news UA, explosions and a fire reported in Podolsk, Moscow region. So here's that video coming out on a fire over here in the Moscow region. Also, looks like earlier this morning, not sure exactly what happened over here, but Podolsk reporting a strike, and we have a fire that broke out in this area. So if I get information on that, I'll let you guys know exactly what was hit, but I don't know just yet. Now for military news UA, the governor of the Belgorod region reported a new case of railway tracks being blown up in the Pokrovsky district. As a result of the track being blown up, a diesel locomotive was derailed. All right, so recently, over the last week or so, we've been hearing so many explosions on train tracks, train derailment, especially just a little bit to the west over here would be the Bryansk region, and Ukraine supposedly could have carried out a strike over there. We had a whole train derailing. There was like 388 people aboard. Russia was accusing Ukraine, but Ukraine has not come out and said it was them that did that yet. Maybe it was Ukraine, maybe it wasn't, but allegedly another strike on a train station over here, or train tracks being blown up, causing another derailment of a diesel locomotive. Okay, so crazy what's happening over here in Russia. So many trains just being derailed everywhere right now. Now for Bricktop NAFO, taken in Moscow 35 minutes ago. So here's the Moscow region again last night with drones entering over there. We had some sort of explosion over here. Looks like maybe a drone that could have been shot down starting a forest fire is what this looks like to me, because we got a lot of thick trees here, and you can see a bunch of them over there also. So that's probably what that was there. Now for military news UA, today, June 6, 2025, Russia used Tu-160 strategic missile bombers to strike Ukraine, Ukraine's Air Force reports. Usually only Tu-95MS strategic missile bombers are used for this purpose. Okay, so apparently last night, Tu-160s were being used, and typically Russia doesn't use these. So does that indicate that maybe Russia took such a massive hit with their Tu-95s being destroyed over the weekend, over the former weekend, last Sunday, when Ukraine carried out Operation Spiderweb going after strategic bombers? That is a very big indication that Russia is short on aircraft, or maybe they've had to relocate a lot of them to secure them, and now they're starting to have to use Tu-160s that they typically don't use in this war. So I thought that was interesting coming out today. Now for Max 25, after Spiderweb operation, Russia was only able to raise 7 bombers for the attack, according to Defense Express. The enemy was able to use 5 Tu-95MS and 2 Tu-160, and they loaded them with missiles to the maximum. Previously, each bomber usually launched 1 to 3 missiles, and now an average of 5 missiles. Okay, so more information here, possibly indicating that Russia took massive losses with their strategic aircraft as Ukraine carried out Operation Spider's Web this past Sunday. These were like clips coming out, or little pictures and a collage here of the different strikes on the aircraft. So I think Russia took a major hit over the weekend. That's showing right now, especially with this attack that happened last night on Ukraine. It wasn't as big as I was expecting, and I was expecting Russia to do more, but nonetheless, they did launch a massive attack last night. And now for Max 25, UAV's attack on Russia, map from Drone Bomber. Okay, this was a new map coming out just earlier this morning. You can see the date here, June 6 at 5 a.m. Okay, so late into the day, it looks like Ukraine was launching another drone attack towards Moscow. Here's a report from War Monitor. It says Ukrainian drones are currently attacking Moscow region. So it looks like Ukraine putting more pressure on Moscow again today after their attack last night. Ukraine is not letting up at all, putting the pressure on Russia. Now from Bliskovka, Crimean bridge is blocked. According to Russian media, they complain about the danger of unmanned boats, including underwater drones. So apparently something's going on at the Crimean bridge again. Underwater drones or unmanned boats are being used down there. Probably Magura V5s attacking the Crimean bridge. We might have some big information on that later today. Now from Anton Gerashenko, Russia launched more than 400 drones and more than 40 missiles, including ballistic missiles at Ukraine last night. Russian attack killed 4 people and injured more than 40. In Kiev, 4 people were killed and 23 injured. Residential buildings, subway tracks, cars, civilian infrastructure were damaged. Lenitsia, if I'm saying that correctly, reports damage to tracks in the Kiev region. Reportedly, Russia struck Lutsk with 15 drones and 6 missiles. 15 people were injured. Apartment building, private houses, government building, commercial facilities, and cars were hit. Ternopil experienced the most massive attack in 3.5 years. Industrial facilities and infrastructure were damaged. Part of the city is without electricity. Water supply is intermittent. Air pollution due to fires and enterprises have been recorded. Harmful substance concentrations exceeded. Russia attacked Lviv region with drones and cruise missiles. An industrial facility in the Drohobych district was damaged. Several villages without power. Khmelnytsky region, a private residential building and cars were damaged. In Poltava region, 3 people were injured. Administrative buildings, industrial warehouses, cafes, private houses were damaged. Cherniv, 4 residents were injured. There were people who may be trapped in the rubble. High-rise buildings, a business, critical and social infrastructure facilities were damaged. Power supply to water pumping stations was disrupted. Part of Kherson was left without electricity due to shelling. I mean, listen to that, guys. Just so many regions hammered last night by the Russians. Lots of civilian infrastructure targeted and destroyed. We got video here coming out from Lutsk, I think is how you pronounce it. This is in western Ukraine that was attacked by several missiles here fired from the Russians. Take a look.
Сука. Хату прям. Чё? Ебать. Пизда. Ебать. Сука. Ебанутый нахуй. Ебать.
All right, very frightening video coming out from Lutsk in Ukraine overnight, and I believe these were either KH-101 or maybe Caliber cruise missiles that were being fired. I mean, the Russians fired somewhere around 44 of these, and I know Lutsk was one of the major cities that was attacked by these missiles. I'm not sure what Russia was going after right there, but you can see they were targeting a specific area right here in the middle of this city. So crazy video coming out. We had reports of lots of people buried under rubble there and killed and injured in those attacks. Now from Polymarket Intel, clear footage shows a Russian 3M-54 caliber cruise missile flying towards Lutsk. We'll watch some of this, guys. Check this out. So these are Caliber cruise missiles that were fired from the Black Sea attacking Ukraine. You can see several of them just flying over this guy's house. There's another one right there, actually. And yeah, they were heading on over to Lutsk in that video that we saw where they were directly striking right in the middle of that city. Here's another one from War Translated. KH-101 cruise missile deploys heat-seeking decoys before striking a target in Lutsk this morning. All right, so we can see this KH-101 cruise missile flying along, dropping off what looks like heat-seeking decoys or some sort of flares to prevent it from being shot down. I didn't even know these missiles can do that. I thought it was a pretty crazy video watching this thing dropping off multiple flares here. Maybe it was being targeted and they were trying to prevent it from being shot down. So now from Ukrainian Review, a 9-story building collapsed down to the basement after Russia's night attack on Lutsk. 2 people were killed in this building. Were a young couple. They lived on the 8th floor. Their bodies were found under the rubble in the basement. So very sad, guys. I mean, look at this. This building taking a direct hit in Lutsk. These were due to the missiles incoming. It looks like one of these high-rise buildings taking a direct hit from one of these missiles. Here's the damage on the inside. This entire floor just collapsed, from the top floor all the way down. And can you imagine if you were inside there, the whole thing just fell. People were trapped under rubble and people being killed, unfortunately. 2 people in this incident. So very sad news, guys. Now from Ozin Defender, documentation of damage to rail infrastructure and other buildings in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev as a result of last night's drone and missile attack by Russia. Okay, directly in the capital of Ukraine and Kiev, we can see damage here to rail infrastructure inside of Kiev here. Houses being destroyed, okay, businesses destroyed. I mean, once again, civilian infrastructure. I haven't seen any bit of military sites being attacked. Why were the airfields not attacked last night? If they were, Ukraine hasn't reported that at all. All we're seeing here is the Russians just pounding civilian infrastructure, destroying businesses and homes, and intentionally hurting people. Now for Bliskovka, footage of the hits on the gas station in Ternopil is published online. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry has already named the fictitious targets of today's attack: design bureaus, arms production facilities, UAV assembly shops, and warehouses of the armed forces of Ukraine. Terrorists have once again demonstrated their true intentions. So this is video coming out also showing a fire over here reportedly at a gas station. And why would Russia need to target a gas station? I mean, look at this right here. You can see this gas station here. There's a fire just right behind that. So it looks like some sort of building got hit. Here's another one in the background. This looks like just some sort of industrial facilities over here. I'm not sure if these had direct links to Ukraine's military or not. Maybe it did. You can see a massive explosion right here also while they were driving by. So crazy footage here, guys. Lots of hits inside of Ukraine. This would have been in Ternopil. Okay, this is also in western Ukraine. Now for Max 25, the infographic shows the approximate routes of enemy targets. Okay, you can see the direction of all these drones that were entering, the missiles and whatnot. You can see a lot of them were going over here to the western side, especially the missiles, these blue ones. You can see some of these missiles also coming from the Black Sea. These were fired from Russia's missile carriers and heading over here to the western side as well. So it looks like mainly Kiev and the western side of Ukraine was heavily attacked last night. Now from Maria Avdiva, please stop calling them retaliation strikes. This isn't retaliation. It's a full-scale, unprovoked war Russia has been waging since February 24th, 2022. Russia doesn't need a reason to bomb Ukraine. Call it what it is, a genocidal war of aggression. So that was her statement coming out from Ukraine. And Maria, I think she lives over in Ukraine. She records over there from time to time from like Kiev, also from Kharkiv. Here was a picture coming out showing a massive fire inside of probably Kiev last night, as they were getting hit by lots of missiles and drones. Now for Bliskovka, the number of people injured in Russia's strikes on Kiev has increased to 27, reports the head of the KCMA, Kachenko. The footage shows the destruction of one of the ballistic missiles over the capital. So here's air defense interceptors heading up to destroy the incoming missiles. Looks like they missed the second one. You can see 2 of them coming in, actually. One of them get destroyed. The other one is still continuing on. It looks like that 4th interceptor might have missed as well, probably had direct strikes, but we did have some interceptions over the capital. Now from Defense Intelligence, blackout in Kiev, Goran 2 drone strikes trigger power outages across parts of the Ukrainian capital. Here's another video coming out showing a massive fire, and I understand that it's blurred out on the bottom, but Ukraine does this on purpose, so that way Russia cannot adjust their strikes and hit these targets again in case they missed. So we had a massive fire over here. Looks like maybe some sort of warehouse or building that could be on fire that was directly hit. You see lots of smoke there as well. Now for Max 25, I want to sleep a little, right? I do, but they won't wait it. Zelensky said after today's Russian strike, Russia burned down another warehouse with humanitarian aid. They are waging war against cities and against life itself. So this is a picture of Zelensky today. He was speaking at some sort of conference, and if you look at him, he looks extremely tired. I mean, I'm sure last night nobody got any sleep inside of Ukraine. I mean, well over 400 drones were going into Ukraine, 44 cruise missiles, massive damage across Kiev and other cities. So he looks to be very tired today while he was speaking at this conference. Now from World War III Monitor, and he says, Kiev, we got a video, and you're going to hear some explosions from a Russian drone. Take a look at this. Right, so imagine living in Kiev and hearing this almost every single night as drones are entering into Ukraine repeatedly. Sounds like we had one flying and crashing into something, but unfortunately we can't really see what happened here as the video is blurred out, but definitely a direct strike from a Russian drone. Now for Noel reports, in Kiev, 3 Ukrainian state emergency service rescuers were killed while responding to the aftermath of Russian strikes. They worked under fire to save lives. 9 more were injured, some critically. Doctors are fighting for them. In Chernobyl region, 5 rescuers were also injured while extinguishing a fire, all receiving medical care. So here's a Ukrainian firefighter, probably inside of Kiev, after he witnessed the death of 3 Ukrainian state emergency service rescuers. Okay, so other potential paramedics, firefighters that were trying to rescue people that may have been damaged or hurt in attacks. And unfortunately, they lost their lives. And what we see from the Russians a lot, too, is they launch double tap attacks. So I'm not sure if that happened as well. Sometimes the Russians will strike one area inside of Ukraine, and then first responders will show up. Soon after, it'll get hit again with more missiles. And we know missiles were directly striking inside of Kiev last night. So very sad to see. Now for Max 25, there were strikes on 2 high-rise buildings in Kiev. There are fires, according to KMVA, explosions in Vinnytsia. Okay, so Vinnytsia, I think, is south of Kiev. We had explosions over here as well. All right, so just a quick clip here. It's only 5 seconds. Unfortunately, we can't see anything, but what we can hear is a massive explosion, probably Russian drones exploding over here in Vinnytsia. And again, that's like in southern Ukraine, close to Kiev, kind of like central southern Ukraine, I guess we could say, not too far away from the capital. Okay, so explosions over there also. Now from DD Geopolitics, new footage of Kiev shows U.S. supplied Patriot PAC-2 and PAC-3 systems launching interceptors amid a Russian Iskander missile strike. Multiple impacts visibly captured on camera despite defensive launches. So I want to show you guys this. Looks like Patriot interceptors were also trying to intercept more of these incoming Russian ballistic missiles and failed, and we had direct strikes. You're going to be able to see that. Take a look. We'll pause it right there, guys. So you can see in the beginning, there was multiple interceptors going up in this direction. And soon after, you saw some of these missiles coming down. So it looks like these Patriot interceptors did fail to bring down several of these missiles that were incoming. I think these were Iskander missiles, and sometimes these are very hard to shoot down, and the Patriots are not even successful at bringing them down. So very crazy video coming out there. Now for Megatron Ron New, Kiev is on fire today after the massive Russian missile attack this morning. Here's a quick video as well, just 5 seconds, showing a massive blaze here inside the capital of Kiev. I mean, they were just getting hit so hard from drones and missiles last night. More damage here to what looks like civilian infrastructure directly in the city. Now for Max 25, Kiev. Here's some pictures as well that Max 25 shared. We've got some high-rise buildings that were hit directly from drones. So again, Russians claiming that they were going after military targets. This does not look like military targets to me, and it's crazy that they tell that directly to Donald Trump as well, and yet Trump doesn't act and sanction Russia for this. I mean, look at this, guys. This is not military infrastructure as well. These are for civilians. These are literally people's homes and people living inside of these getting injured and killed in these strikes. So very sad. Now I got a couple miscellaneous things to show you guys before we wrap this video up. For Max 25, 560 meters left for the Russians to the border of the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy has advanced in the Troitsk area, according to Deep State. Okay, this is a very big report out of the Donetsk region, and it looks like the Russians are very close to getting to the border of the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, okay? This is in southeastern Ukraine, and we heard just a few weeks back that Russian commanders were ordering their soldiers to advance and to reach the Dnipropetrovsk region, and if they did not, they would be severely punished. And it looks like the Russians are getting very close over here, okay? This is not good news. The Russians have been advancing in the east, primarily in the Donetsk region is what we've been hearing about. They're getting very close to the border over here with the Dnipropetrovsk region, so not good news there. Now for Noel reports, despite over 3 years of full-scale war, Ukrainian resilience holds strong. According to a new KIIS survey, 60% of Ukrainians are ready to endure the war as long as needed, with another 6% prepared for at least a year. Only 20% see their endurance limited to months. So it looks like more than half of the people living in Ukraine are still supportive of enduring this war as long as needed, okay? And we've been seeing that these numbers have been gradually climbing. If you notice here, just over the last few months, 57, 57, 54, and then 60. Looks like it jumped down a little bit last month, but back up this month again. Okay, and this is due to the Russians repeatedly attacking. I'm sure a lot of the Ukrainians they want to win this war after everything they've been enduring for the last 3 years. It's too late to turn back now, and they can't surrender to the Russians. They got to continue to fight on. So it looks like a lot of people in Ukraine are still supportive of the war. Now for Max 25, he's got a little screenshot from Telegram to show us here, and it says Ukraine is preparing an operation to attack ships of Russia and its allies in the North Pacific Ocean. It says, according to WP. I'm not sure if that's Washington Post or not. It might not be. Possibility of sending naval drones hidden in cargo containers to certain locations is allegedly being considered, but this operation has not yet begun. Yeah, so apparently there was a report surfacing around today that I think it was the Washington Post actually that was sharing that Ukraine is not done with their operations on Russia. They're preparing for new operations similar to what we saw over the weekend on Sunday, going after these strategic bombers at airfields, and then on top of that, the Crimean Bridge being attacked. So maybe they're going to carry out some sort of operation. They say here North Pacific Ocean. I would think that's closer over to like maybe Vladivostok or even North Korea or something. That'd be crazy if Ukraine were to attack North Korea, considering that they've been involved in this fight. And we haven't really seen, Ukraine even coming out and warning North Korea on sending all these weapons over to Russia and whatnot. But we'll see what's going to happen there. It looks like Ukraine could be preparing another attack again. Now from Savchenko Volodymyr, the Atlantic reports the White House is discussing the possibility of ending support for Ukraine due to Trump's dissatisfaction with attacks on Russian military airfields. Trump, who previously called Volodymyr Zelensky a bad guy capable of provoking World War III, sharply criticized him in a small circle this week for bragging after the drone strikes. Trump also aids that he does not believe in the possibility of a summit with Zelensky and Putin, despite Turkey's offers to organize such a meeting. Here's a report. Ukraine got a major battle victory. Trump is not happy. So yeah, the Atlantic's reporting today that maybe the White House might possibly end support for Ukraine, and we've been seeing little signs like that. I've been showing you guys multiple reports coming out that the U.S. is slowly pulling support for Ukraine, and we haven't been hearing of any new aid packages. The Biden administration packages are pretty much going to be running out here very soon. So something big is going to come here from the U.S. I think they might just completely pull out from these negotiations. Trump is not even really talking about this anymore. He's not really calling on Russia and Ukraine to end this war as much, if you guys notice. If anything, yesterday he actually mentioned while he's speaking to Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor at the White House, he said that he was willing to let Ukraine and Russia fight it out for a little bit, which is crazy to say. If he's somebody that wants this war to come to an end and end the killing, why would somebody say that? Let them fight it out a little bit. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here, guys, but anything could be really possible here when it comes to the U.S. Now for Max 25, here's another post on Telegram. 4 regions of the Russian Federation have reduced payments under contracts with the Ministry of Defense. In the Samara region, they now pay 2.1 million rubles instead of 3.6 million. In the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous, 1.9 million. Okrug million instead of 3.1 million. In the Nizhny Novgorod region, 1.5 million instead of 3 million. And in the Bashkiria region, 1 million instead of 1.6 million. Okay, so what we're seeing more is the Russian Ministry of Defense slashing more payments to contractors or anybody who signs a contract with the military. That's more indication that Russia's economy cannot withstand the amount of payments they're making towards all these soldiers. They're running out of money, guys. I mean, oil prices have already been collapsing over the last couple of months. Russia is running out of money, and I think just today I heard that the central bank over there lowered their key interest rate only by 1%, which is not a whole lot. Not sure really why they did that. Maybe just for a show, to kind of pretend as if their economy is in a better shape, because I'm sure 1% is not going to do a whole lot. I think it was at 21%. It went down to 20% today. But nonetheless, what we're seeing here still is that Russia's economy is struggling if they can't afford to make these payments. Now from NOAA reports, Ukraine's Air Force reported on the overnight attack, which in total struck 13 Ukrainian cities, shot down 368 out of 407 various types of drones, 199 shot down, 169 suppressed by electronic warfare, 4 out of 6 Iskander-Ms, KN-23 ballistic missiles, 30 out of 36 KH-101 cruise missiles, 2 out of 2 Iskander-K cruise missiles, 0 out of 1 KH-31P anti-radar missiles. So Ukraine's claiming they shot down a good majority of everything going into their territory last night, but nonetheless still had a lot of strikes and destruction across multiple cities in Ukraine reported, especially with these missiles hammering in Lutsk yesterday in the western side of the country. Now from Kyiv Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of June 6, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Now, our last reports of the day, Russia's losses as of June 6, 1,160 troops, 5 AFVs, 101 vehicles and fuel tanks, 2 tanks, 44 artillery systems, 174 UAVs, 3 anti-aircraft warfare systems, and it looks like that is it, guys. Still about average numbers across the board. I'm still not seeing a whole lot of fluctuation with these numbers. Still pretty low for the most part. Not really spiking a whole lot with a lot of these numbers like I would expect them to yet. So I have a feeling it's going to stay like this for a while, and maybe we're not going to see too much destruction here on the Russian side. But otherwise, lots of huge news coming out from this war today, guys. I've got a lot of things that I got to cover and continue to monitor as, you know, things are changing so rapidly over here. This war is just exploding out of control right now. And, you know, Russia's very upset with what happened to their strategic bombers. That's why they launched this attack onto Ukraine. Ukraine's planning to carry out more operations in Russia here very soon. This war is getting very crazy, guys, and quickly. Hopefully it does not expand and other people get involved. For example, NATO maybe, or at some point Europe might try to get involved here. I hope not, as that would be really bad and things could definitely get out of control. But otherwise, things are pretty wild right now. Let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.